All right.
Hello, everyone. This is Renee Piane, and I am live in Los Angeles, and I am so happy to interview Clayton Norcross, who is in Hawaii. He's still in the midst of a healing process from a breakup. Now, we did this video that I hope you've seen, and if not, I'll put the link right here below. But each week, we are going to do some inspirational talks about his process, and you might be right in the middle of it. So we'd love to hear your comments. So this week's topic, Clayton, hello. How are you doing there in Hawaii?
Very well. Aloha, everyone. Nice
Yeah.
to welcome to my farmyard. You might hear a rooster now and then.
Well, he's just here egging you on because you've been in this healing process. So we decided to do these videos for people to tell you the process that he went through. So why don't you tell us just a brief history of the relationship that you're healing over, and then we're going to get into our topic about where a person is at, where, the love phase that they're in at that time, and how sometimes that affects the relationship. So why don't you tell me your situation?
Sure. Well, thank you, Renee. It's a pleasure to be on with you. You have a wonderful message to give to a world, I think, that really needs it.
Yeah.
Case in point for me, I travel a lot with my work as an international actor. I work a lot in Italy as well as in Los Angeles. And that means I meet a lot of foreign women and women in Los Angeles that I may be traveling from. And so I'm always a bit on the go and wondering how to have a successful relationship when I'm moving so much. So this has been an internal problem for me romantically for about 30 years. This last episode, I met a gal that by chance I texted her and realized that I had missed a text from her just a couple months earlier, a lady that I had history with many years ago, actually. And she lived in Spain and said, I'm going to come to Madrid. Let's make friends again. And we hit it off, to say nothing, to say nothing else too rude. And it was a wonderful chemistry. We were so glad to see each other again. However, I was only about 6 months out of my divorce, and she was just leaving her marriage as well. That was quite long and I'm afraid traumatic for her. And so both of us were kind of in rebound mode, but the and enjoying each other and having fun, traveling around, sort of in resort mode, shall we say, was very infectious.
Well, most people that I coach are like yourself. I know that I met someone and married someone that was in the middle of all of that. And when people are in love phases, there's all different love phases. Most people are either in the midst of a breakup or divorce. They're out looking for love and disappointed, or they might be in a situation where they're with someone that isn't the right person for them, but they don't know how to escape. So when people contact me, I help them to do a look at themselves. And that is what you did when you picked up my book, Get Real About Love. Now, in the first chapters, we talk about the love, where you are in your love situation, whether you're in one of those scenes. So both of you were still healing from a relationship.
Yes.
So how, in the long run, what was the cause of the breakup and the cause of your pain, so that people can relate to it, and then we can give them some tips so that they don't feel so bad and so damaged and so sad. Because what happens is once they get sad, they have this doubt and they have this fear and they have this anxiety that it could be them. It's something inside of them, and then it triggers all of these old patterns. So why don't you speak about that?
I think you said a key word. There's a trigger in many of us that gets tripped, and it can awfulize or magnify what might ordinarily be a learning experience.
Mm-hmm.
And for me, I was still licking my wounds coming out of this marriage. I was very disappointed by it. And this was actually part of what created an attraction between us, because I was very vulnerable. I was sharing my feelings with, he was an old friend. And then suddenly I looked at her sideways and I realized how beautiful she was. And now how we had had a brief romance many, many years before, she kind of looked at me sideways, and it was like, it was very beautiful. I'm not judging it in any way, but we didn't really take the time to investigate what are you looking for? What am I looking for? Does this person fulfill that desire? Am I ready to get back into a relationship when I'm only 6 months out of my marriage? She's just stepping out of hers, and it's really, really fresh. So here are two people on the rebound, really hungry to be loved and to feel validated and important and to feel good again. And we just seize that moment. I think this is a fairly common experience in human
I hear
relationships.
it every single day from people
I'll
around
bet.
the world. Now, right now during the coronavirus, and before we wrap this up, because we're only going to do short little videos for you each week, but people that are in certain situations when your heart isn't fully open, sometimes you'll keep recreating the same thing over and over and over because of the loneliness. So you'll have one part of you that wants the love and the other part of you that's sort of unsure. Now, you had said something to me during the time we were working, during the time that you were going through this healing, that she had mentioned to you, I don't know whether I'm really ready for a long-term
Right.
relationship. So
Yeah.
this is the key, folks. Most people are communicating to you during that fun, romantic phase. You're getting involved, you're possibly sleeping together quickly, and then all of a sudden you'll feel an energetic pullback. And I think we know that that's what happened in this situation
Right.
because she really wasn't ready. But did she tell you? Did she tell you
In
honestly?
fairness to my partner, who shall remain nameless, I want to respect her privacy. She did warn me fairly early on, I think in the first month or two. And keep in mind, we're not seeing each other every day. She's in Spain, I'm in Italy, and we see each other when we can. But she said, listen, I'm not really ready to have a serious relationship. So take it easy, cowboy, you know? And I think she could feel that I was feeling really excited about someone new in my life that could, put a finger in the dike of my marriage failing. And I was very disappointed about that. So I had a quality woman who said, look, take it easy, because this is about as far as I can go. Did I want to hear it? Not really. I figured, well, I'm a tough guy. I can outlast her healing crisis. Besides, I got all this love to give. I'll make her feel better, right? We
Now,
rationalize.
Now, this is the key to this lesson, and we're going to have to wind it up. If you are in a relationship with somebody that pulls back or says, right now I'm not really ready, it's best for you to say, I really care about you. I'm starting to bond,
Yes.
especially if you are having sex. I think that we might need to back up a little bit and take some space, because if you don't, you're always going to end up in the drudges of a ditch. And that's when people call me. People are in a rush. People they have a part of them that wants that love so quickly that they jump into things. Even when they hear the words, it doesn't resonate in their soul, and they do it anyway. And when that romantic spark happens, I always say, if that love is the right love, it will come back in the perfect time and not try to push for it, right? So the pain that you went through recently stimulated patterns that you've had from the past. And that's what we're going to talk about next week, because many of you, right, Clayton, like you got triggered and then you started to doubt you. And that's, now that we're almost to 10 minutes, we're going to have to wind this up, because
Wow.
maybe you could leave them with a thought about how once you realized what was happening, you weren't so hard on yourself.
Yes. Once I realized that I was triggered, I was suffering a lot, having to let go of this lovely woman who needed to go on her own healing journey. And she had tried to tell me in 10 or 15 different ways, I need some space on my own. And I believe that women vote with their feet. If they're with you and inviting you and make it easy for you to be in their lives, they're saying, I really dig you. I really dig what's happening. And I was constantly feeling the brakes on and not feeling the cooperation that I wanted. So I have to step back and finally say, wow, this is not really achieving what I want for my life.
Well, there's thousands of people that go through this, and I'm here to tell you, it's not you. It's a pain from their past. It's their bad role models. It's from still going out with an unhealed heart. And we're going to be talking more about this next week on Clayton and Renee's Get Real About Love Tips. I hope that this has stimulated maybe something inside of you to look at the phase of love that you're in currently and possibly even like when you hear your friends complain, or you have somebody in your life that's saying, you know, I'm just not really sure. It's best for you just to take a step back and let them go through their process. And if the love is meant to be, it will be. I myself was with someone and married someone that was in the midst of the divorce, and I had to give him space and time and showed him my love in small doses so that I didn't push him, because he was dating 3.5 women when he met me, and they were all pushing and pushing and pushing and pushing, and he ran as far away from them as possible. I just said, you do what you want to do, but I'm looking for love. And I'll see over time whether you're really ready. And we did not get romantically involved in the beginning. So I'm advising everyone, slow down the process, find out the person's love phase, just like Clayton did, so that this next time, Clayton, you're going to slow it down, wouldn't you say?
Well, you got to find out the love phase, and then you got to be willing to listen and obey your intuition when you hear it.
Yeah.
Two key components.
Well, thank you for sharing this story. I mean, it's very raw and real for a person to admit these things. We all have that little girl and little boy inside of us that wants that love right now. And I find that busy, successful people, I did it myself. And if you want to read more about it, you can get my book online and then follow us through this process, because it's really important for you to know the love phases, and also how a person was wired, where they learned about love. So next week, we're going to be talking about the role models of love, and Clayton is going to expose some of those that occurred in his life, and I'll be sharing mine. I had some pretty crazy cheating role models in my life, and I know Clayton wasn't exactly, I don't know, maybe you could wrap it up for us here, Clayton, with one more thought on your end before we sign off.
Well, my intention here is to be as transparent as is possible, and to let everybody know that we all go through these love loops, as you call them, where we see the same patterns. We're creating the same kind of situation, or attracting the same kind of person. And I think that there is much investigation that you have helped me very much to do, to see, where did I learn about love? Why do I choose this kind of person and not this kind of person? And am I really paying attention to what my little guy inside needs to feel safe and secure? And that's a really valid thing to talk about, I think.
Well, there's so much more to say. We hope you enjoyed this session. Little love tips from Renee and Clayton. And I'm really excited to hear your feedback. We would love to hear it. All of the information to give us both feedback is right here below. And we will be back next week with more inspiration from the book, Get Real About Love. So you can find it on Amazon. It comes in Audible, Kindle, so you can get it right away. And I will be putting it in Italian very soon, so that people in Italy, I'm Italian, and hey, Italians, they have this lineage of cheating and, you know, infidelity. And I know I've heard from many, many women in Italy that they're fed up. But I got to tell you, once you learn these tools that we're talking about, you can explode your heart and open to love from a really solid foundation. And that's our intention. So we'll see you next week. Thank you, Clayton, for being so open, because the whole world is watching celebrities date, celebrities divorce, and watching their path of getting married again and again and going through heartbreaks. But this is real life. This is
you only get
your
pieces
life.
of the puzzle through the celebrity press, shall we say.
Yeah.
You don't really get a full picture. And I'd like to talk about giving a little fuller picture to our followers here, and share, how do we fix it?
Well, we're going to give you more tips every week. Stay tuned. Please send us your feedback, questions, and things that you want to hear about, and we will see you next week. God bless you, Clayton in Hawaii. Say goodbye to everybody.
Aloha.
Bye-bye. We're all going to be getting really real about love every week. Thanks for tuning in. Bye-bye. That was good.
I had one little stumble in there, and I felt like a couple of times I went on a little longer maybe than you wanted me to. Is that right?
Well, we went for 14 minutes.
I had a feeling. It's about twice as long as it needs to be. I don't
Yeah.
want to get into the whole editing thing. I think we should probably redo it and just try to see where we can compress it. Where did you feel we went
It's just
awry?
too long. Like you could say, I had known a woman in my 40s or whatever, and she tweeted me, and then or whatever it was, the story, and then I ran into her again. She warned me right up front that she wasn't ready, but I don't know. I couldn't help myself. I had just gotten out of a divorce. I rushed into love. I mean, we could put it up, but it's long. It's about 14 minutes.
Well, I think the limit for IGTV, which is our goal, is 10 minutes.
That's
So I
right.
don't think we can do that. And I would rather just redo it than try to edit this and spend a much more time and energy. I know you've got better things to do. I'd say let's call.
Hold on. Let's see. Start video. It's off. I think we would have to go on and do a new one. We would have to go back and start this over and do it again. You
I think
can't
you
do
could probably compress the opening a little bit too. You know, just I think we have to assume that these are all standalone pieces.